Tuesday, or Transformation Tuesday today. And I was online, and all of the exit interviews for Wes surfaced today from the traders. I don't know if they were up before, but I had just never seen them. And so today I went around, and a bunch of Wes exit interviews popped up. And something that he said that was related to his life on TV for some reason struck a chord with me in a way of, I was like, wow, this is something that I can kind of relate to. So they were talking about his choices that he made on the traders, and a lot of people were asking him similar questions in a sense of like, Wes, what do you think about the cast saying that you are too aggressive and you are too aggressive in the game? Certain people described him as threatening. Hi, Marshall. And he was like explaining himself a little bit about that, and he was like talking about the round table and saying that there's a lot of things that we don't see at the round table. And he said that the things that he was telling them was in a joking fashion, and he said that for a lot of it, the majority of them were laughing, but the edit took out the laughing and made it look like he was just very serious the whole time. I mean, and that's honestly just his personality. Like, Wes is a sarcastic TV character when he's doing things for TV. I have told you all, and you've seen, I've had several personal interactions with him. Not in person, but just whether it was exchanging messages with him or whether it was the video interviews that he's done with me, a couple of video interviews, and he was really nice. Wildly different than anything that I'd ever seen on TV. Night and day from what I've seen on TV. And I've met several of his castmates at these events, and when they describe Wes, they all say the same thing. They're like, TV Wes versus real life Wes is a totally different thing. But that's neither here nor there. The thing that he said, they were kind of asking him in a roundabout way, do you think that you possibly could have done better playing a game where you chilled a little bit more, where you were less assertive about who you think is a traitor, where you were less aggressive when it came to trying to rally numbers to get people to vote the way that you want them to vote in the turret, etc. Basically, basically to play a CT game, because there's been 4 challenge people on there. I could say a CT and a Trishelle game, but I don't think that CT and Trishelle played the same type of game. It was just that Trishelle got away with her aggressive gameplay for whatever reason. But CT did not play an aggressive game. CT played the game of hide behind the blocker. I mean, not everyone's going to understand what I'm saying, but in football, there are certain plays where, you as the receiver are running behind the blocker, and the blocker is blocking everyone who's trying to tackle you and or take the football. So CT would always play the game of somebody else brings a name up, and he might agree with that name, but he's like, such and such thinks that this person is a traitor, and I agree with them. He's not saying, I think that this person is a traitor. So they were asking Wes, basically, do you think that you could have stood a better chance if you were maybe less arrogant or more passive, those types of things? And Wes was like, would that have helped me stay in the house longer? It's possible. It's not a guarantee. but it's possible it could have helped me stay in the house a little bit longer. But he was just like, I've played my game the way that I have played my game for years. And that's not talking about the traders, that's everything. In terms of, I guess, the real world, all those years on the challenge, worst cooks in America, House of Villains, and now the traders. I don't know what order those were recorded in, but basically everything that he's been on, he was like, I play an aggressive game. And he was just like, obviously, on that show, I'm the most cast person on that show. So he was like, for some people, their goal is, I have to get on this show to win the grand prize. And he was like, I want to win the grand prize, but he said, I would have done the traders for free because I just enjoy the game. He's like, I enjoy watching the game, I enjoyed playing the game. And he said, if your goal is simply just focused on, I have to win the show in order to get that money, otherwise my season is a failure, then yes, I would have played a more passive game. Don't say any names, don't try to influence the game, and don't really worry about even getting any airtime. But he was like, he said, I'm not the winningest player, on the challenge. There's people that have won more than me, but he was just like, I've made more cumulative money than all the people who have like won prize money. Like, he was like, my money that I have made overall, I think he's referring to stipends, like money to show up, money that he has made after the fact and after the show. He said that it is cumulatively more than anyone has ever won on the show. So he was like, I don't see a reason to change my formula now. Now, how could that relate to me? I guess the way that I was thinking of it relating to me is that I have done things in my life a certain way. And people have always tried to influence me to do things a different way, because the different way that they're suggesting to me is the easier path, right? So for an example, if I think about my parents and their parents, so basically my grandparents, and the type of advice that I know that their parents gave them about life, my mom had goals of what she wanted to do with her life in terms of her career. And she wanted to be, well, I don't really remember what she wanted to be. Maybe I need to ask her again, but I know that I believe that she wanted to be a writer or something. There was something that she wanted to do that was not nursing. But my grandparents were like, appreciate that, Ed. Are you at work? Yeah, I miss hearing your strategic thoughts about those shows, because we're both analytical when it comes to that stuff, which is probably why I like Wes. But anyways, my grandparents told her, I know that you want to do this, and it's nice to have dreams or whatever, but you got mouths to feed, so getting a degree in nursing is a really steady job, because then it doesn't matter where you go, like anywhere you are in the world, if you leave the country, you're always going to be able to get a job quickly, and it's going to be a job that pays you well. Similarly, that's the reason why my dad did accounting. I always just thought that he loves accounting. And then I remember one time when he was trying to convince me to do accounting, I told him, like, Dad, I'm not interested in accounting. I did a few accounting classes, and they were some of my least favorite classes. Nobody likes accounting. He looked me dead in my face and he was like, nobody likes accounting. He's like, I became an accountant because it's a good job, it pays good money, and it's easy to find work. And I never thought of something like that as the easy path, but in some senses it is. It's hard work to get yourself your accounting degree, the master's degree he got, and the CPA. You know, it was hard work to earn that stuff in school. And the jobs that he did were hard work. It's no walk in the park being an accountant or a nurse. Those are two hard jobs. So in that sense, what they did was hard. But it's harder to be somebody who's like, there are paths laid out in front of me for success. There's the path on the left, there's the beaten path on the left, and the beaten path on the right. And I'm choosing to walk this middle path that doesn't have any footsteps in it. Because now you're blazing a trail. You're starting something and you're doing something that possibly hasn't been done before, or even if it has been done, even if it has been done, I don't know what this person is doing. There's so few people that it has been done by that, you know, you're gonna go through a lot of bumps in the road, and you're gonna do a lot of hard work to even figure out what that path is and where it's leading. You know, like, you can't just look at the map and be like, all right, here's the destination I'm trying to get to on the map. You are creating somebody else's map in essence. So the thing that he said was just pretty much saying, no, I didn't take the easy path on the traders. And he said, in general, on all these shows that I've been on, I have not taken the easy path. But he said, the path that I took got me all the things that I wanted. So if I could go back in time and choose a different path, I wouldn't. And that's the same thing he said to me in one of my interviews that I did with him. It was before he did the traders, but I remember him saying something very, very similar to that. And I was like, wow. You know, it's interesting how somebody could be saying something that in essence does not really relate to you specifically, but you can extract a meaning out of it that you can apply to the specifics of what you have going on. I'm seeing somebody said nighty night. Who is it nighttime for? Not anybody on my page. I missed all these comments. All right. Yeah, I'm not reading all of these. CT was lucky. I like him though. Wes went out with a bang on the traders. Oh, works on the weekends. Okay. I have it the opposite. I was gonna nap and Mark went live. My cousin is an accountant. Now I'm gonna go ask him. You know, I don't think it's true that nobody loves accounting, because I feel like I've spoken to somebody who does accounting who told me that they love it. So, but maybe he is right that more people just do it because it's a steady, reliable job that pays well. versus somebody like waking up and being like, my dream job is to be an accountant and balance the books. Which he also told me that was a myth. I was like, I don't want to sit down and balance books. And he was like, do you know the last time I balanced some books, Mark? And he was like, when I was just coming out of school and getting my first few accounting jobs, that's when I was balancing books. And he said, once I got my experience down, from there, I wasn't doing that kind of stuff anymore because that's entry level work. At least that's what he told me. All right, I'm going to be on here for another few minutes. NYC moment. Oh, Marshall said, have a good evening. Well, I know you won't see this, but bye, Marshall. I like math, so I get a little plus math is usually math in. You gonna skip mine? It makes sense that it's steady and reliable, and the thing is, I grew up in a household where both of my folks at the end of their career expressed that they didn't like their job. My dad actually told me if he could start his career all over again, he said he would figure out a trade. He said that the things that I'm doing, in terms of, he was looking at me doing my YouTube page, my photography, public speaking and stuff. He was like, find a way to make that work, because you don't want to be like me, spending 40 years of your life doing something that you don't enjoy. He's like, if you can find a way to merge your passions with things that actually pay you money, then, you're going to be better off than most. And I've heard that before, to be honest with you. I heard that from somebody before, and it was actually somebody who leads the music department in this nursing home. I think he's still there, as a matter of fact. And he was telling me about the fact that him and some of his friends were they were a rock band, or they're still a rock band. The rock band still is kind of together at times, but that's what they wanted to do full time. And he told me about this contract that they got offered to go on tour back in, I think, the 80s or so. And he talked about how after what they saw their first week touring, they decided to tear up the contract. And then he said from there, he didn't know what he was going to do, because it was always his dream to be in this band and to travel and to make albums and to do all this stuff. And then he said he eventually went to school for music. Then he ended up unexpectedly getting linked up to this nursing home, and then starting their music program in there, which he has been doing for a number of years. They love him in there. I knew him because I was part of a group there that volunteered with him for about 3 years. He was working there, but I was volunteering and going there every Monday for this music class for the seniors for like 3 years. And he was so happy. He was one of the happiest people I ever met. And he made his money by a combination of, leading that department in that nursing home. And then also him and his friends would do concerts on the weekend. Like sometimes on a part-time basis. So, but he was telling me like money isn't everything. My desired career is in theater and music, so I could either make it big. Yeah, that's the type of thing that my mom is fine with me doing the arts as a gig. If I told her that I wanted to go around and do music on the weekends, every weekend, she would be like, amazing, as long as you have a 9 to 5. Have fun doing that on the weekends. But if I was like, I want to do that all the time, full time, she would be like, nah. The percentages of people that survive doing that, I would not recommend that. She would not support that. And I say that not just guessing, but that's because I told her those are the things that I wanted to do when I was 18, and she was strongly against that. I was finishing up my schooling for PA before my life took a turn. It has always been my passion. They say, and I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that. That is exactly what I am seeking. Because everybody says that to me. And I'm like, I have felt every day of the 17, 18 years that I have worked. I have felt every one of those work days. I've never done a work day that I didn't feel like was a work day. Maybe with the exception of one job that I had that was in a peer respite house, which was like a crisis house for people who are in crisis. And all you really had to do in that job was to just sit down with the people, talk to them about what their crisis was, help them come up with a wellness plan and a crisis prevention plan for when they leave the house. And it was low pressure. There was only like 3 to 4 people in the house at a time. And they were all, like 90% of them were just very appreciative of everything that you did for them. Everything that you said, every conversation that you had with them, all the paperwork that you helped them with. Like, they were just very, very grateful for that. It was a low stress environment, and one where I felt like I was making a high impact. There was no supervisors breathing down my neck. My supervisor was actually my biggest supporter. My supervisor didn't come in and say, oh, why haven't you done this and that? You're not doing enough of this. She was like, how can I support you? How is your shift? Is there anything that I can assist you with? Is there anything on your mind? How are you feeling personally? I've only had 2 supervisors I can think of that were like that. 90% of them have been, no comment. From the time I was 3, I wanted to be a physician. At 4, I said I wanted to be a physician. Boy, has that changed. All right, everybody. I'm jumping off. Hi, Cass. As I have some work to do, but I'll probably be back on later. So thanks for your support, and please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell.